Hello everyone, Ace here, and today I've decided to do something a little bit different. Specifically, let's talk about how the BBC Pigeon has decided to honor the memory of Queen Elizabeth II. BBC Pigeon being obviously an offshoot of the BBC, however with the articles written in deliberately broken English, apparently in order to make the articles more readable for people who don't really read English all that well, in theory anyways. All that said, keep in mind that the BBC Pigeon is funded by British taxpayer money. So all of that said, let's look at just how the BBC Pigeon has decided to respect the memory of Queen Elizabeth II with their article originally from the 8th of September titled, and I quote, Queen Elizabeth II Don Die. Queen Elizabeth II, the UK longest-serving monarch, done die for Balmoral at the age of 96 after she reigned for 70 years. She died peacefully on Thursday afternoon for her Scottish estate, where she been done spend most of the summer. The Queen climbed the throne for 1952 and witnessed plenty social change. Her son King Charles III said the death of his beloved mother not one moment of great sadness for and family, and that her loss go there deeply felt around the world. Her family gathered for her Scottish estate after concerns grew about her health earlier on Thursday. King Charles said, "We mourn profoundly the passing of one of cherished sovereign and much loved mother. I know her loss go there deeply felt throughout the country, the realms, and the Commonwealth, and by countless people around the world. Go lead the country in mourning as the new king and head of state for 14 Commonwealth realms. Camilla, im wife, become queen consort. During the coming period, and im family go they comforted and sustained by our knowledge of the respect and the perfection we the queen so widely held." Inside one statement, Buckingham Palace say the queen died peacefully at Balmoral this afternoon. The king and his wife Camilla, now queen consort, go return to London on Friday, Buckingham Palace talk. All the Queen's Peak and traveled to Balmoral near Aberdeen after doctors placed the Queen under medical supervision. Her grandson Prince William, now heir to the throne, also dia with his brother Prince Harry on him way. Prime Minister Liz Truss, where the Queen appointed on Tuesday, said the monarch not a rock on which modern Britain they built, we don't provide us with the stability and strength we need. Speaking about the new king, she talked, we offer our loyalty and devotion just as his mother devoted so much to so many for so long. And with the passing of the second Elizabethan age, we usher in one new era for the magnificent history of our great country. Exactly as Her Majesty foredone wish by saying the words, God save the King. Queen Elizabeth II's tenure as head of state spanned post-war austerity, the transition from empire to Commonwealth, the end of the Cold War, and the UK entry into and withdrawal from the European Union. Her reign spanned 15 prime ministers, starting from Winston Churchill, born in 1874, and including Miss Truss, born 101 years later in 1975. She held weekly audiences with her prime minister throughout her reign. For Buckingham Palace in London, crowds where they wait updates on the Queen condition began they cry as the mere of her death. The Union flag on top of the palace they lowered to half-mast at 1830 BST and imposed one official notice announcing death outside. The official notice read, the Queen died peacefully at Balmoral this afternoon. The King and Queen consort go remain at Balmoral this evening and go return to London tomorrow. On the Queen's death, Prince William and his wife Catherine become the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and Cornwall. Then board the Queen Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor for Mayfair, London on 21 April 1926. Only some people fit don't see say she go become queen but for December 1936. Her uncle Edward VIII come out from the throne to marry one American woman where Don divorced 2 times, Wallace Simpson. Elizabeth's father become King George VI, and at age 10, Lilibet, as she day known for the family, became heir to the throne. Within 3 years, Britain day at war with Nazi Germany. Elizabeth and her younger sister Princess Margaret spent much of wartime for Windsor Castle after the parents reject suggestions make them evacuate to Canada. After turning 18, Elizabeth spent 5 months with the Auxiliary Territorial Service and learned basic motor mechanic and driving skills. I began to understand the esprit de corps way flourish in the face of adversity, she recalled later. Through the war, she exchanged letters with her third cousin, Philip, Prince of Greece, who they serve in the Royal Navy. The romance blossomed and the couple married for Westminster Abbey on 20th November 1947, with the prince taking the title of Duke of Edinburgh. She go later to describe describe him as my strength and stay through 74 years of marriage before him death in 2021, aged 99. The Duke of Edinburgh at the Queen's side for more than 6 decades of reign, becoming the longest serving consort in British history in 2009. Dem born their first son Charles in 1948, followed by Princess Anne in 1950, Prince Andrew in 1960, and Prince Edward in 1964. Between them give their parents 8 grandchildren and 12 great-grandchildren. Princess Elizabeth de Kenya for 1952, they represent the ailing king when Philip break the news say for her father Don die. She immediately returned to London as the new queen. On a very sudden kind of taking on and making the best job you can, she later recalled. Dem crowned Elizabeth for Westminster Abbey on 2 June 1953, aged 27, in front of then record TV audience estimated at more than 20 million people. Subsequent decade go see great change with the end of the British Empire overseas and the swinging 60s sweeping away social norms at home. Elizabeth reformed the monarchy for this less differential age, engaging with the public through walkabouts, royal visits, and attendance at public events. Her commitment to the Commonwealth now constant, she visited every Commonwealth country at least once. But periods of private and public pain day. In 1992, the Queen Annus Horribilis fire devastate Windsor Castle, one private residence as well as working palace, and 3 of her children's marriages break down. After the death of Diana, Princess of Wales, for one car accident for Paris in 1997, the Queen draw criticism, say she appear reluctant and no respond publicly. Questions day about the monarchy relevance in modern society. No institution suppose expect to day free from the scrutiny of people way give their loyalty and support. Not to mention people way no give their support. She acknowledge Dem born Elizabeth Alexandra Mary Windsor for Mayfair, London on 21 April 1926, the first child of the Duke and Duchess of York. As a 21-year-old princess, Elizabeth Dawn vowed to devote her life to service. Reflecting on those words decades later during her Silver Jubilee for 1977, she declared, "Although I make that vow for my salad days, when I day green in judgment, I no regret or retract one word from She make that same commitment to serve 45 years later for one thank you letter to the nation on the weekend for her Platinum Jubilee for June. Dem celebrate the milestone with a mix of state ceremonies and one colorful festival of all things British plus lively street parties. Although the Queen health keep her from some events, she talk say my heart dawn day with you all. For one moment, way them meet with cheers from huge crowds. For the more, 3 generations of her family join her on the Buckingham Palace balcony for the final of one pageant. King Charles, age 73, become head of state for 14 Commonwealth realms. Him and wife Camilla day for Balmoral alongside him siblings Princess Annie and Princes Andrew and Edward. Edward wife Sophie also accompanied him by, plus Princes William and Harry. William wife Catherine remained for Windsor with their children George, Charlotte and Louis, as he done be their first full day for one new school. The royal family now done into a period of mourning. Dim go cancel official engagements and Union flags go fly at half-mast on royal residences, government buildings, across the armed forces and UK posts overseas. Foreign leaders don't pay tribute to the Queen. With US President Joe Biden, they remember how she stand in solidarity with the US in the darkest of days after the 9/11 terrorist attacks. To France President Emmanuel Macron, she be kind-hearted Queen and friend of France. For Justin Trudeau, Canada Prime Minister, the Queen a constant for Canadians' lives and one of him favorite people for the world. Chinese President Xi Jinping say her passing a great loss to the British people. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi recall in memorable meetings with the monarch during 2 UK visits. I no go ever forget her warmth and kindness. Im tweet Ukraine President Volodymyr Zelensky tweet, saying out with deep sadness him learn of this irreparable loss. And Russian leader Vladimir Putin sent him deepest condolences to King Charles III. And that is the article in its entirety. So yeah, that is how the BBC Pigeon, and by extension the BBC, have decided to honor the memory of Queen Elizabeth II. And once again, I do believe I need to remind everyone that this is being funded by the British taxpayer. And for those who think it was painful to listen to, I can safely say that reading it aloud was far more excruciating. But for those curious, I will of course be leaving a link to an archive of this article in the description below, so you can check it out for yourself if you should so desire. But in any case, this has been Ace. Hope to see you guys again soon. Take care. Ace out.